Hey everyone, hope you all are doing well. Um, Sorry to be late with the video again this week. I'm almost caught up, almost there. I think I say that every week, so I hope I mean it this time. So, looking back to last week's readings dealt with technological anxiety, which is very apropos for the essay that you all are working on to turn in this week. So you had The Birthmark by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and this story shows a lot of the concerns people had about science when they didn't know a lot about science, and the concern people had that with some power, people would kind of go off the rails. The story certainly touches on, what it means to play God, what it means to toy with nature. Though you'll read or actually, no, you already read about it in History of Technological Change, the idea that once we have toyed with nature, there really isn't anything left that is just of nature, right? Humans have in some way affected everything on our planet and have even affected some things beyond our planet. So it definitely calls to mind, how far is too far? I think we can all agree that Elmer goes too far. But, how do people figure out what lines to draw when it comes to technological innovation, when it comes to science and its effects on people's health, on people's quality of life? What's the line between fixing something medically and enhancement for the sake of enhancement, and where should we draw those lines? And these are, of course, questions that we will think about. I don't think we'll necessarily come to correct answers or definitive answers, but there's certainly concepts that we need to think about. So you had the Why We Freak Out About Some Technologies reading from Wired, and I really enjoy that, and I find that those criteria really work. I look forward to seeing what you all have to say about that. So had readings from Second Machine Age. You'll continue with that this week and complete the book for week 4. It's a pretty quick read. I mean, I know they deal with some complex ideas, but I found that book really zips in comparison to a lot of textbooks, especially in comparison to some books we've had for this class previously. I've taught this class for a while and have been through a few different textbook incarnations. So I got some positive feedback from y'all on the Android Prophecy. I know it's dated, but it seems like some of you all did enjoy it. And as you probably noted, a lot of the films and television series that they talk about in the Android Prophecy have now been remade or sequeled or revisited in some fashion. There was the new version of Blade Runner that came out. There was Westworld is being redone as a series right now. It's done really well. I find it really disturbing to watch, but it's been done really nicely and is in progress for any of you all who are interested. So then that brings us up to this week. You've got the chapters 4 through 7 in Second Machine Age. Clay Shirky's video, and Clay Shirky's video is a bit dated too, but he talks about the idea of a culture where we encourage people to do good rather than using negative feedback to prevent people from doing badly. He gives the example of a daycare center. I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't watched it yet. But it makes me wonder, with all of the technologies available to us, is it really reasonable to expect that people will choose to do good and choose to do it just for the sake of doing good, to use those technological tools for the sake of others? So, I remember I wanted to also mention the concept of exponential growth that was talked about. Moore's Law, the idea that you'll have doubling of memory technological power every 2 years, but I think it ended up doubling a little faster than that. And Moore's Law is held for a long time, and you have to get a good picture of exponential growth to get it. And that's something that typically I would say, is hard to visualize exponential growth. We don't think about that much, but due to COVID-19, we've been thinking about it a lot. So you've seen a lot of those exponential graphs probably if you've been looking at the news, if you've been looking at data on how a disease can spread really quickly. It's like that. But I included the video I think it was last week, with the rice and the chessboard to help you visualize that example that the authors give you in the book, because it's hard for our minds to really grasp that kind of growth. So to the robot essay, I've heard from a lot of you all on the essay. I'm really excited to read it. A couple of you have picked characters that nobody's written on before. So I'm really excited about it. Some of you are doing new takes on characters people have written about before, and some of you are going with some tried and true standards, and I look forward to seeing what you say about them. So I'm really excited about these essays. And that means something because I read a lot of essays. Okay, I teach English classes too, so I read a lot of essays. So on this essay, I know some of you have already turned it in. I'm starting to work on them some more this week. I got started last week and I'm about to jump back into grading them. The idea here is to look at that character and think about what the character is potentially a response to. And I understand that this isn't a situation where you can necessarily go look up a source and find that, so-and-so writer wrote this character as a commentary on blah, blah, blah. That's not, that may happen. There are times that's true. But the idea here is to, look at the character and think about what was going on in the world at the time. What are people worried about? How does this character speak to that? So making that argument, making those parallels. Now, if you use some outside sources to do that, that's absolutely fine. Make sure you cite them properly, quoting, paraphrasing, in-text citations, etc. But if you're just working with your film, you can just refer to the film in the text and include the citation for it at the end. So I know that not everybody's had English 111. For some folks, it's been a long time since you've had to do essay writing, and you may be a little rusty on those concepts. So if that's the case, it's fine to just refer to the film in the text and then cite it at the end. But if you're actually pulling quotations or concepts from other people's writing, you do need to make sure you in-text cite and provide your works cited entry there at the end. So I think that gets us up to speed. Oh, and do bear in mind there are 2 links to submit that essay, one for Turnitin and one to the assignment link. I'll also mention that I'm piloting some software or piloting a platform in Blackboard this summer, and I've had a little bit of trouble with it. I've heard from 2 of you about some weird messages you got when you submitted your assignment. If you get anything weird, and if it comes in an email, forward it to me. If you see something weird, send me a screenshot, and that'll help me troubleshoot it. So if you see something weird, just let me know what's going on. It's not going to affect your submission or anything like that. We're just trying something new, and I need to figure out what's working and what's not, in the middle of this crazy summer, figuring out one more weird new thing. So as I mentioned last week, week 4's out. After week 4, we'll be working on that job outlook assignment that you see previewed there. That will be due in week 6. And in week 5, we will start working with The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. So if any of you didn't get that text yet, please make sure that you do. So for now, that's it. I'm going to continue working on loading content on the site. I'm sorry that I don't have it all up yet, but I've kept up with those of you who are working ahead so far, so that's good. I'll take that. I appreciate those of you who've gotten in touch with me. If you have questions or need help, definitely get in touch. Please don't suffer in silence. Let me know if you need assistance. Again, if there are any topics that you want covered in a video, if something is hard to understand, if you need us to go further in depth, please do let me know. So I hope y'all are having a wonderful week. Stay safe. If I can help you at all, please let me know. Take care.